I'll be honest with you, I like how you started the last time. Where you started, I'm not gonna lie. Like when we air the pilot, I like the fact that like I would keep the initial introduction where you're like, "Fuck that, I'm going back in again. I'm gonna do it natural."
Yeah.
Because it's so raw, and it's like, oh, okay, these guys are pretty cool. Yeah, they're real. They're real.
They're humans.
Yeah.
You know
it's
what
like,
I mean? Exactly.
It's like, okay, he was trying to do the thing, but he gets it. He got it right away. Like this, we're gonna keep it natural. You know what I mean? It was perfect. I love that part. It was like one of my favorites.
Chicka check. All right, guys, welcome back to Passing the Bar podcast, where we discuss the ups and downs of our industry from a perspective of veteran bartenders. Today, we've got Evan.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
And we've got Steve.
Hello.
And myself. My name is Chris. I'll be the host of the show. And I think the main flow of where we were trying to go with today is just to introduce us to the masses and what we are and what we do and what we love. So, Evan?
Yeah, so what's up, guys? I'm Evan. I've been bartending for a long time. I've been bartending at Yard House for 8 years. Other jobs, I was there for a total of 6 to 7 years. So I think I've been bartending now for about 15 years. I originally started off at an Irish pub where I told them that I had bartended before, but I had not. and so essentially, I just had to figure it out, and that's how it all started. And it was a great experience where I carried my weight in the service well. It was the first place that I started, and it's funny that in the future that I worked in one of the most beef service wells ever at Yard House.
When you were when you started out, how old were you?
When I first started, so the thing is that I've been working in restaurants since the age of 13. I started washing dishes, and I feel like the restaurant industry in general it's like the mafia where you just can't get out sometimes because the money's just what it is.
Yeah.
But
totally.
so from there, I remember watching bartenders all the time. So in my head, I was like, those guys make the money. I want to do that thing. And so basically, the kitchen you didn't make a lot of money. I heard about busboys making a lot of money, so I quickly realized that like I need to stop working in the kitchen and move out there so I can move into that situation.
Mm-hmm.
Bartending never happened. I ended up becoming a manager of a restaurant instead of bartending. They told me I was going to be a bartender. When they brought me into the office, they said, we want to make you a manager. And I was 23 at the time, or 22 at the time.
That blew your head up?
Yeah, it messed me up, man, because I really just wanted to bartend. I didn't want to be in charge of people. But I have a yes boss mentality, and I said, okay, I'll do it,
Yeah.
And after grinding for a couple of years, I realized I hated it. You know what I mean? But
you hated
managing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just people, and like it's such a young
white
age.
shirt.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Or at that point, I had a whole plethora of shirts and ties that I got from TJ Maxx to do my job. But anyways, I was offered a job to bartend. I told them I could bartend, and they knew me from being a manager, and they just assumed that I was a bartender before I was a manager, and they gave me the job.
So they offered the opportunity,
Yeah.
and I wouldn't say. I mean, you can go and say fake it till you make it, but you just were like, it's
yeah. And I mean, ultimately, I knew what drinks were because I was a manager and a server for so long. So the way I saw it was like, I can make a fucking Jack and Coke. You know what I mean? I can make a goddamn vodka. I can make a vodka soda with a lime on it. You know what I mean? Like, or crack a beer too. Like, and say, hey, how you doing? You know what I mean? I was like, that's essentially what bartending is, right? But as time went on, I was like, oh, it's not just that. It's a little more in depth.
Yeah, Steve, where'd you get your start, man?
Well, I got to start in the food industry at the good old, let's call it Cold Stone Creamery at 15 years old. That was my first experience actually taking guests.
Is it?
We'll be mixing on the Cold Stone when you tip.
Yeah.
We sang and everything.
Yes, you did.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my first experience getting tips, not just being an hourly employee. And then my brother, he's a few years older than me. He started bartending, and then I just kind of saw all the cash flow that he got. And I was like, you know what? I want to get there. I want to do that. So then, plethora of different bars and restaurants. Started working at Chili's. That's where I got my first hands behind the bar, because in Chicago, you actually only have to be 18 to be a bartender at Chili's.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
wait, only 18?
Only 18.
Pour drinks and everything.
You can pour drinks. You can serve it up. All of that jazz. So that's kind of where I got my feet wet, and then I would say I got my formal training at Gordon Biersch Brewery. I mean, that, you think it's a brewery, you don't have that many drinks to make, we had over 75 specialty cocktails, and
Oh,
that
yeah.
well murdered you.
Yeah.
So I would say, my speed and everything kind of came from that. But yeah, so I was in Chicago. I was bartending there for about 3-4 years. I was at Chili's, and then decided to take the plunge. I was sick of that cold-ass weather in Chicago, so I decided to move to San Diego, where I continued to
San
bartend. And then got my feet wet with the whole club scene, guest bartending at Sidebar and other clubs downtown. And then that's when I really saw the speed and how you can make some money and make a name for yourself. And then in San Diego, that's where I met my good friend Chris Pryor, who's hosting this show right now. And he brought me onto the Shack, and then the rest is history. But yeah, man, I've been bartending, over 10 years now. Love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah, so that's kind of my backstory of where I came from.
So, Chris, where did you begin?
Man, it's funny. I feel like all of our experiences are completely different, like 100% different, which is really cool because we all share like that common bond, which is the bar. I first started in the restaurant industry working for a company called Buffalo Wild Wings.
Okay.
And I was in school in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I'll tell you that there was nothing else going on in Fredericksburg at Central Park. Shout out Central Park, because I know you guys have built way up. Think of it like our town center now.
Right, yeah.
So there was nothing going on. This was like my first restaurant job. I was 18, like fresh out the gate.
Yeah.
Like literally, I think I got hired on my 18th birthday. On Fridays and Saturdays, this bar would turn into a nightclub. They would bring in like a DJ, and people would show up. I mean, line out the door.
Fucking turn up,
Buffalo
fucking
Wild
Yeah,
Wings.
B-dubs,
Man, just jamming out. I mean, I'm not lying. It was actually kind of first experience with like security, first experience with like being propositioned to like join a threesome with like a wife and a whatever. I'm like, wow, yeah, this is a lot.
That's a fucking lit ass B dub.
Like,
Hey,
what
B dubs, by the
just
way, if you're
happened?
listening, you can sponsor us.
Yeah. But seriously though, so we all know the movie Waiting. Like
Yeah.
that was that experience. It was like, whoa, this is what's going on. This is fun. So then I got to ODU. I ended up having a decent amount of friends, and we would go out to some places, before we were able to really kind of go out,
Oh yeah, we all did that.
Yeah, we all did that.
Yeah.
So I remember I was at a bar drinking, and the manager at the time, he walks over to me. He's like, "Hey man, you still doing like that? You still doing the RTC? You're still doing the Army thing, And I'm like, yeah, I'm still doing that. He's like, hey man, do you want to? You feel like making some extra cash? And I'm like, yeah, I'll make some extra cash, whatever. And he goes, hey, I got a job for security for you. And I'm like, sick. Job for security. What am I making? $10 an hour, $7 an hour, like as a college student,
Right.
On top of like my GI Bill and having my school already paid for anyway. I was
Right,
like,
yeah.
fucking sold.
Right.
So
A little extra cash.
Right.
No big deal. Yeah.
So it jumped from me being a security guard to getting moved to another bar, that the owner owned, and he's like, hey, look, we know we need help tonight. Can you go over there? I go over there and help. They're like, oh, dude, we like you. You want to stay? So from there, I became a door guy. From there, I got an opportunity to do like a bar back shift. And it was cool. It was me, and shout out to my buddy Adam. We were kind of like the same guy. You know what I mean? He was like the white version of me, and I was the black version of him.
Yeah.
But we were all like
Fucking yin and yang.
Yeah, social butterflies, and we fucking worked well together. So I had moved up to door guy, and Donnie had,
White light.
yeah, right. He walks over to me, and he's like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna save your life." And I'm like, "Okay, what's up?" And he's like, "So what do you do as a door guy?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, sir, I check IDs and I greet our guests." And he's like, "Nah, fuck that."
Right.
He's like, "What do you do?" He's like, "You stand up here, you fucking talk to girls, you know what I mean? You get people to come in, you probably smoke too many cigarettes, like all this shit, you know what I mean?" And I'm like,
Yeah, what are you gonna do? You're standing there.
right. he's like, I'm going to give you a chance to save your life. He's like, I'm going to put you and Adam against each other for fucking Fat Tuesday. You know what I mean? The person to invite the most people will become like a permanent bar back. And I'm like, bet, no problem. I got this. So I used all of the social media that I possibly could. At the time, I think it was like MySpace and Facebook. I made groups.
MySpace.
Hashtag never forget.
Yeah, I made.
Man, I missed my playlist.
Oh man, that music when you logged in, get out of here.
Son, that's my whole playlist.
I made events. I went and I canvassed the university. I handed out tickets. And at the end of the day, I ended up, this is no shit, I had like 150 people show up like on that night.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think nobody else had like 10 or some shit like that.
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? So they were like, hey, look, we're going to give you this opportunity. So then I bar backed. You know, in between this like time, I was still like, I had picked up a serving job at Chili's. So I was like working kind of 2 jobs, still going to school, you know, doing the whole thing.
You guys are like Chili's brothers.
Hey,
What's up?
Shake that margarita, baby.
margarita.
Yeah, so look, they go, it's fucking St. Patty's Day, man. You know, like it's right around my birthday. And he's like, hey, St. Patty's Day, I'm gonna need you to bartend. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, St. Patty's Day, I'm gonna need you to bartend. And I'm like, it was right before my birthday. It was my first time doing it. So like, and he's like, can you do it? And I'm like, I've fucking done it before. Yeah, fuck yeah, I can do it.
Hell yeah.
I got this shit. Mm-hmm. He's like, well, check this out. It's either you're going to do great and it's going to be cool, or you're not going to do great and it's not going to be cool. And I was like, okay, that's pretty straight math. I get that. 50-50 chance. Fuck it. Let's just do it.
I like the philosophy of that.
St. Patty's Day, 2000 and whatever the fuck year it was. The fucking wildest moment of my life, stepping into this fraternity as a bartender. From there, I got kind of like the itch, you know. I got the itch. I got the okay. How do I make more money out of this? You know, like I felt like I reached a plateau working at like college bars after like a year. So I decided to go downtown Grammy Street, end up getting a job as a guest bartender on like a Monday night for college night. It all worked out. Started working college night at a place called Time Lounge. I ended up getting promoted to like promotions manager. And then after that, I would like bartend, and I was also like a AGM. I was also 22. This was like
nuts.
Way too fast. But it was what I was looking for at the moment.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
At 22, it's like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Knew everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, had the responsibilities, made the money. Like, it was a good time. But from there, I went to work. All the hot spots. Grammy Theater, Lucky's over in Hampton. I've worked Waterman's for 6 years. I worked at Calypso for a brief stint. Catch 31 for a little bit. I currently work at Grain. And in between that time, I got an opportunity to open up one of the most exciting bars in Virginia, the Shack down at the oceanfront. And that's where both of us, or all 3 of us, kind of came together.
Right.
Because I'd worked with Evan at the Yard House.
Right, yeah.
Where Evan trained me. And then me and him helped to train some of the current bartenders that are still there, or past bartenders.
Yeah.
And then I met Steve in San Diego on a trip.
Hey.
That was kind of a cool situation because you and your wife, you were planning on moving back, but no one knew, you know. And I got the text and the call like, hey, is there any way that, you know, you can kind of help shop, you know, Steve around or sell, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck yeah, I can help shop around. Like, day later, I get an opportunity, I get a promotion. I'm like,
just kind of fell in your lap.
Yeah.
I got a job
Timing
for
is
you.
everything.
Yeah.
I can't say you guys told me the story about how you guys met, but that's like that'll fill a whole other podcast.
I mean, I'm feeling a little slighted here because I thought I was the white version of Pryor.
Oh, that's what I
And
heard
so
too.
now,
And that's part of
this
that.
Adam dude coming into the
the fuck is
picture.
Adam?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
I guess he was the
first.
the original. Yeah,
He
he
was
was
the
his first.
He was the
Okay.
first.
Look, man.
So I'm your second love.
Well-
that we've learned.
Hey, look,
correctly.
I love
Tina Turner
I love
said it,
all-
dude.
I love all my.
Tina Turner said
Yings.
it's a secondhand emotion, dude. Love. But that's you though. You got it. You got it now.
I mean, without going too far into detail, you know, I've been bartending for 9 years. I've worked at all of the top spots in Hampton Roads. I have worked with some of the best, if not, actually, I've worked with the best people that I've ever seen bartend in the world. You guys are some of them. I've had an opportunity to learn a lot of things, though they're good and bad. And I feel like I have taken at least my step in the industry to better myself with it instead of allowing it to ruin my life.
Wear you down.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And that's a thing though too. I mean, like that's another thing. It's like, you know, where you start is like not where you end.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to grow. You have to. You have to expand. You got to look at new opportunities.
And you need an exit strategy, essentially.
Right. Yeah.
It is a great fast way to make money.
Oh, it's
you know
super
what I
great.
mean? And it's fun, and you get to meet so many people, and
Yeah, Evan, what do you love about fucking bartending?
So, for me, again, like growing up in a restaurant and started making my money, in the front of the house by the age of like 15. I'm like looking at these bartenders, and they always had this high, they were the highest echelon of the restaurant. They were better than the managers. They were better than the servers. They were like the